As you guys know, lately I've been doing a lot of LGC1 videos, so this has sparked a lot of anger within the Sony OLED community, which is the opposing faction, I suppose, because they factionize TVs for whatever reason. So I kind of wanted to make this video for a couple different reasons, to empower you and show you how to correctly use sites like rtings.com and be able to see all the things that I talk about in my videos, and also, again, just so you know what you're looking at. Now, another reason I'm doing this is because I have a lot of those Sony fans come back and tell me all this guy does is go against the mainstream, and he just says the opposite to say the opposite. But, you know, scientifically, I back up everything that I say, and everything I say can be backed up on these professional bodies. So you can verify that using rtings.com, and I'm going to be doing that for you in this video so you can see these two things. So we're going to get started, and we're going to start scrolling down. So immediately, the first metric that they use that I don't take seriously is their brightness measurement. Their numbers are always way too low, and historically speaking, they've always had inconsistencies where TVs that are dimmer have been placed as the brighter TV because of what they call the kind of like real scene feel or whatever they do. Like, it's very weird. I don't like the way they do brightness. My brightness is open door. It's very transparent. Either your TV is brighter or it's not. So I don't like the way they do brightness. I don't take that at all because my numbers are almost always higher using Calman and my X-Rite i1 Display Pro. So we'll go to their gray uniformity, and I will use that. And you can immediately see that the LG C1 is on the right, A80J to the left, gray uniformity goes to the C1. So already you have a win for the C1, gray uniformity. Doesn't matter how small the win is a win is a win. That's like saying, you know, you overdraft if you hit $100, and, you know, if only you had 99, maybe should have, would have, could have, but at the end of the day, once you hit that $100, you're overdrafting. You know what I mean? That kind of concept, same applies here. No matter how small it might seem, a win is a win, so we'll give it to them. Okay, so then we have the same black uniformity, but viewing angles are different. So at an angle, the win goes to the LG C1, because you're going to have more color shifting on that Sony than you will on that LG. So now, effectively, in two areas, we've established that the LG C1 is better. Gray uniformity and viewing angles. Those are two big areas for the C1 to be better in. Now, let's continue to scroll. Reflections. That also goes to the LG C1. And again, better is better. We can slice this however we want, but better is better. And this is attributed mostly to, in my personal opinion, the mostly matte finish screen that they have on the Sony A80J, which makes it look cheap. It just looks like it's a very mid-range TV at best. And I mean, that's kind of one of those things you're going to have to weigh up for yourself. If you want to see more reflections, great. But again, a win is a win, so we won't harp on that too much. Okay, so now pre-calibration. This is where everyone's losing their minds, and they go, he has no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't understand how professional calibrations work. He's saying that the LG is better, but pre-cal, the LG got a 4.6 and the Sony got an 8.6, and literally this is where they're all going crazy. So I love this, and I'm going to show this off in real time and embarrass every one of them. Okay, because when you have to understand, when you do this, as long as I've been doing this, it's really not only disrespectful for me when people come on and they try to tell me like I don't know my craft, but also you're getting this from an everyman, an everyday guy just picking up a camera talking shit like FOMO or Be the Installer or whoever these other people are that like to run their mouths and scoff at somebody that actually knows what they're doing. And I love it. I think it's absolutely hilarious. And so let's get into it. For starters, yes, scientifically speaking, reference accurately speaking, the calibration results look better, right? Okay. We have lower delta errors and all that stuff across the board. A win is a win. The Sony takes the pre-calibration for the reference accurate, and then they also take the post-calibration for reference accurate. So that's all we need to see, right? That means that the picture will always look better on the Sony, right? Wrong. Because Sony still has tendencies and habits that go against reference standards and what's considered reference accurate. What I said in my video for the review was that the Sony has an overly blue hue, and near blue colors like purple, they can't be calibrated to defeat this kind of habit. And this can be shown in real time in your white balance, regardless of how quotation mark reference accurate your picture might look. And I'll show that. Go down to the input. I like to use the 4K image because it's the highest resolution, and just compare it side by side. Take a good hard look. If you look at the boat, you'll notice there is more blue on the left on the Sony A80J. You look to the right on the LG C10, it is more accurate. It's closer to what we'd see with our real eye. And again, this isn't something that was just exclusive to Arting's camera that they took the picture. I saw this myself and I reported on it in the review. So that should let you know that this is something that affects real colors and everyday viewing. And again, it's so-called reference accurate, right? But look at the image on the C1. Not only is there more contrast, because when you cast a blue hue, like the blue hue almost acts as like a masking tool to an effect, where it's just masking certain colors and they're not blending correctly. And it's just completely jacking up the color science versus LG that doesn't have this problem. And again, it looks so much better. And you can see it in things like, if you look carefully, look at the foliage. The foliage is going to be truer to what we see with our real eyes on the C1 to the right. You're going to look at the water. The water is going to have a more natural color. Every little object on the boat, within the boat, on the boat, you're going to see everything clearer on the LG C1. And again, that's because even though this is reference accurate by numbers, calibrations can be wrong. And I try to tell people this all the time. All you're doing when you do a color calibration is you're just trying to get the TV to line up to what the program says is the target point, is reference accurate, and that's all you're doing. You are not using human vision, which every single CIE color chart is created and color space is created around your vision to try to target your vision. So Rec 709, DCI-P3, Adobe RGB, BT 2020, all that, okay, is targeting your vision. And you can see more than that software, especially when you limit it to a smaller color space than human vision, because human vision isn't supported yet. So you get the idea. So you're calibrating to something outdated already, but then now you're seeing it in real time. Now you're seeing the color inconsistencies, and Sony is trying to pump up the vibrancy of their colors with using this artificial blue that they put in. And I don't know if it's the way that they've gone about their filtering system, but it doesn't work, and you're clearly seeing it here. Now, this isn't the only example. You can see LG just slaughtering Sony in a side-by-side picture comparison. Because if you go up, remember that reflection test? Check this out. Look at her skin tone on the right. That's the LG C1. More natural, more contrast, more detail, more lifelike. Colors are warmer. It looks better. Now look to the left. It's washed out. It's ugly. It's flat. It's bland looking. That's the Sony picture that I've been seeing and I have been reviewing. It's not a magical picture compared to the C1. And if it was, I'd tell you, because again, I own an OLED that is a Sony. I mean, it's the Sony A80J Bravia OLED I've been rocking with since 2019. And I think that when people get in their feels because they read 8.6, 4.6, they don't bother to use their eyes when you can clearly see one is better than the other. It's definitively better. There is no competition. Now, people can try to say that, oh, it's because of the camera that they shot, but I've run into the exact same thing and long since reported on that. And so what are the odds that you're picking it up here on their camera? And then I also reported on it ad nauseum when nobody else did. And still, nobody else has reported on the fact that the A80J just isn't that fucking great. And it's just kind of like, this is the kind of thing that makes people upset, because they find out down the road that they trusted a mainstream body telling them something was great when it maybe wasn't as good as it's being sold to be. The C1 is the best out of all of the OLEDs I have tested so far. And that includes the A90J, folks, which, again, people really don't like to hear. Okay, so now let's continue to scroll down. You want to use color. Okay, so color also goes to the C1. I mean, at this point, you can kind of stop the comparison because there's no need. You have better gray uniformity. You have better viewing angles. You have a better picture that doesn't make your picture overly blue and destroy the color accuracy of near blue colors. Like, again, green, blue, things that like have a hue to them that can be poisoned. So it's just one of those things that, like, again, you really, your purples, like all this stuff, like I could go on, but there's kind of no point. Now, when you use these kind of color gamut measurements, you always want to use the UV coordinates because that is going to be closer to the actual target of the television, and that's what most manufacturers use. And so, 98% DCI-P3 coverage versus 99, neither are bad, but again, a win is a win. And then you have 73% BT 2020 coverage versus 76%, almost 77% on the C1 to the right here. So the C1 is going to be more future-proof and support a wider color space that is closer to the human eye a lot better than what you would have on the A80J. So again, color volume is supposedly better, but again, it kind of ties in the way Artings does their brightness tests, and I don't trust those because I always get higher numbers. So again, I guess we can give the win to Sony for color volume, but at the end of the day, you know, it has a blue hue problem and you can't calibrate that out because they've already done their calibration and it's still there. Now, they say gradients are better on the Sony, so you can go ahead and give them that win, but I personally haven't seen a single ounce of any real banding or anything at all on the C1, so it's hard to say that Sony is better when I don't see it on that TV, so I think that's something to point out. Now, funny enough, image retention is actually better on the C1. So again, that's a massive area of victory because it means the burn-in prevention is stronger on the C1 than it is on the A80J. And you need to pay attention to stuff like this because when you see that 9.5 and you can clearly see image retention where on the C1 it just doesn't show that, that means that LG is more serious about buttoning up burn-in, where on the A80J you just don't have that level of quality control. Now, again, I'm not here saying you're going to get burn-in, but I am here saying that, again, you are posing more of a problem for future use potentially. And again, it's just better is better. You would want something that handles logos and static content better, and the C1 is that. So again, as a gaming TV, it's not going to be good. We can go down to the gaming metrics if you'd like, okay? Let's go all the way down. All the way down. Where's the gaming stuff? Okay, input lag. You already know it's going to win. Better is better, right? It wins gaming. And then you can kind of see that, again, when you look at the input lag, 16.9, almost 17 milliseconds versus 10.1. I mean, that's a massive difference, okay? And that's going to really affect a lot of people who are competitively gaming online, looking for the lowest input lag possible. And again, you don't have features like a game bar. You have the same entry-level remote as literally some of their budget TVs. I mean, we could go all the way down to the bottom, try to find that ugly ass remote. I mean, it's quite garbage what they've done this year. You only have 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, okay? You don't even have all 4, okay? There's your remote, and it's not Bluetooth activated to where you can like literally just have it anywhere in the room and it respond, okay? It's basically IR, so you have to hold your arm out. It's field of view, and if you don't have a line of sight of the television, you're not turning on your TV. It's shitty, okay? And I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but if you bought the A80J, you did overpay. It's not a TV I recommend, and I still don't recommend it. I stand by it from a picture quality perspective, a feature perspective, hell, even the way they present the product presentation. It's just better is better. Also, you're not going to be getting the 120 hertz Dolby Vision gaming that you have right now on the C1. I mean, at every turn I look at it, you're not going to have G-Sync on that Sony. I mean, at every turn. Now, again, I don't know how they do their motion tests, so some people might see 5.1 stutter. You can go ahead and try to give the win to Sony for motion if you want to, but I've tested that side by side with, well, not side by side, but I've actually tested it with running content, actual in-game content, and I'm telling you right now, Sony's motion is so bad. I'm going to tell you like this. I don't know what happened with Sony. They used to have excellent motion in 2017, and after that, they stopped trying. Because all I keep seeing nowadays are you either have a lot of artifacts with motion processing, or you have a lot of judder, and I mean unbearable judder, with it turned off. There is no in-between with Sony, and that's just how it is. And they've done away with motion presets, so you don't even have a comparable offering like you do on, oh, who's that brand? LG. So when I say that LG is better, I'm not saying it from an emotional standpoint. Not only am I scientifically speaking, but I'm also talking from a perspective of just like factual evidence. Like, again, look at the picture to the left. That's your A80J, and to the right is the C1. Every single one of you watching this video right now can watch and compare in the same way that I've done using Artings.com. So if you wanted me to use a professional, quotation mark around that, body to try to back up my results, which are also professional, by the way, again, it is what it is. And I always get people who are going to get in their feelings, and to those people, I have one final message before I end the video. Drop your feelings when you come to Quantum TV. I'm not here to talk about how you feel or what makes you feel good. I'm just here to give you information about a television that maybe will help you or maybe won't help you. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that the Sony A80J is just better because that's what your emotions tell you. You're excited for the product, you want to buy it, and you're just honestly looking for somebody to reaffirm that you made a good choice. You did not make a good choice buying the Sony A80J, just like the people who bought the LG C10 did not make a good choice. I've been saying that about both of these TVs, and I will continue to say that. The LG C10, what is the problem with that? The red color is a little sour, and then some other issues that I've mentioned throughout time. You can go watch those videos on that. They fix some of it with patches, but some things can't be fixed. Like, again, if you want newer features like a game bar, you're just going to have to upgrade. And again, this is my point. At every turn, you're always going to find somebody that's going to disagree with something you say. And again, I'm not in the business of proving that, but I hope by showing you this, you can kind of see through a lot of the mainstream fluff. When people are telling you that the Sony experience is just so much better than what LG is offering, that is not the case anymore. My 2019 Sony Bravia A8G, that is my daily driver that I've been using all this time, destroyed, absolutely bodied the dynamic range of the cognitive chip, and not only depth and clarity, but also in everything that I was getting out of it from an immersion perspective as well as a consumer. So the message is simply this: Sony is not what they used to be. They don't mean the same thing anymore. And if you still feel like you can just run out and buy Sony because of the name, it's just not gonna do you any favors being ignorant like that. Expand your horizons, learn what the market is offering, and when you see side-by-sides like this, make sure you pay close attention to the clear detail that is going to be better on one TV than the other, because 9 times out of 10 you're not crazy. And for those trying to say it's just their camera or maybe it's the OLED technology, both these TVs are OLED. I don't want to hear it. But that being said, hopefully this was very helpful for you, and we shut those rebuttals down and we can stop getting people to getting their feels over something so basic as a TV. And with that, until the next video, thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. I'll see you guys later.